It is Christmas Eve, and you get me looking like I'm in my studio. I really wanted to finish this quilt well before right now. I'm sure I said it somewhere in all these clips, but things happen. And so today I'm in here bright and early because I think I'm gonna make a mad dash for it. I've been down so in love like 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 in love like So right now, I'm looking for enough scraps to, I want to be able to, I have one extra that I would like to do and turn it into either a bag or something to go with this, so it'll be all done. Because I could even, if I wanted to, probably could put it in my coffee one, but it's not my color. So I had an extra block, and so I was thinking that basically because I need an odd number, and because I was cutting in twos, that means I had an extra. So I think I have all the other pieces pretty, I think I have them. Now I'm just trying to see if I have this one piece where I didn't cut for, and I'm sure I'm going to have a couple of others because everything was cut to that odd number. And so I'm looking for a ruler. So with that said, I do not have a lot of time to do this, but the time that I have, oh, it's right on it. The time that I have, I'm gonna come in. So this morning I have other stuff that I'm gonna be doing, like family stuff. And then I am gonna come in here whenever I can. So this morning, I wanted to come in and help myself out by prepping because I had such a challenge with, here we go, with the other piece, with the snowball corners. So what I want to do is prep the corners. And what that's gonna look like is I'm gonna sew one, and then I'm just gonna draw the line on the other and just pin it to the corner so that I will remember the direction. Because I had to pluck and unpluck so many times. And listen, normally I'm not gonna do it. I would not do it. I just would leave it messed up. I know that may sound crazy, but that's my truth. So instead of being like that, I've learned a thing or two during this process. And that is, I'm going to do one completely. So I'm going to, no, that one doesn't count. I'm going to do one completely. And actually, I'm saying completely, but that's not true. I'm going to do one side at a time. And then that way I don't get turned around because all of these pieces are different sizes. So with that said, I gotta just literally measure, not twice, measure 3 times, child. So I keep my instructions nearby on a, what do you call that? A book stand, so that I can see it at all times. And then make sure everything. And another thing, because these are slightly off, it's literally off by a half an inch. So when you looking at when I'm looking at it real quick, I don't know which way is which. So the stack, I'm putting a note on the stack. These notes to myself have been the truth. So I'm going to put a little note to myself to say this is the top. Now I'm trying everything in my power to not have to redo anything, because that redoing just about took the steam out of my wind. The wind out of my steam, it took the something out of something, because I was not a happy camper. So essentially, I'm over here setting myself up for success. Let me know in the comments what you're working on. Have you enjoyed watching this process? Oh my gosh. And then I'm going to put it on the corner. The first one is always easy. It's the second one that gets me. And I think it's because it feels counter. So what I'm going to do with this is I am going to mark this one. That Lori Holt seam thing is the bomb. It is so good. Okay, I'm going to mark this one with this. And I'm going to mark it just for visual representation, because that that little seam thing means that I don't have to mark every single corner. And I'm so glad, because I would have a million corners to mark on this quilt if that was the case, but it wasn't. And I'm so thankful. So I'm going to mark it. I'm doing it with a friction pen because it'll show up, and I'm gonna pin it. I think I've learned about in all of this, like what I like and don't like in projects. I learned a lot about myself. Isn't that how quilting works? That's the thing that you just never expect. That you learn a lot about your personality quilting. You learn a lot about yourself doing a lot of crafts, but quilting is like unlike anything else, because even though you can unpick stuff, it's not like whenever you're knitting or crocheting where you can just pull the string and just, start again. It's sort of like, and granted you can, but y'all already told y'all I'm not with that life. I'm not with that. Like taking seams out and just the thought of it makes my stomach turn. So the fact that I've had to work with such small pieces this time, that was another point of awareness, which I did pretty good. I realized that I had some really good tools. You know how like part of quilting is like you have all these little tools and doodads, and I realized that I had some really good doodads. I'm not sure I want to put this over here. It was on the wrong side. And they have come in clutch. So I'm thankful for that. Okay, so I have this one prepped. I'm going to leave it pinned the entire time and beside me so that I can see it. And actually, I'm going to put it on one of my little design boards so that I won't accidentally grab it. And it fits perfectly. See, so I'll keep that nearby because I can actually prep it up like this near my sewing machine. And that's what I'm going to do. There we go. Now I'm trying to put up all the cues. All of the cues. I have this marked with top. And now I'm going to prep all the others. So I'm going to just prep. This is another thing too that I've learned. I think some of my preparation is a little bit overkill, but the overkill is what allowed me to, in the moment, have my brain downtime. So even though it seems like it's like a little bit too much, it's worth it. I kind of feel like I want to put a little bit of, like a little dab of glue. Oh, I know where it is. I know where it is. I think I'm going to put just a little dab of the glue that I never use with my hexies. I never use it with the hexies because I don't like it. But okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to prep this with a little dab of glue, and then no, I thought it was over here. Nope. Okay, it's near my reading chair. So I'll go do that. I'm going to put a little dab for now. You can't see me. I'm over here making a mess. I'm going to literally put just like a little on the corner. I rarely do this, but for this, I think it's necessary. So, but as you can see, I'm in much better spirits about it. Yesterday, I came in and I worked for probably maybe about an hour or so. And that went really good. I'm literally putting a dot, like just a little dot. Don't want to put too much. I'm just going to put a little dot. And then actually, I'm going to go get that other one because I never use those for anything. And this will be the perfect time to do it without it being messy or the potential of being messy. So I'm about to turn on an audiobook today. I've been having a blast listening to or watching Lifetime Christmas movies. but I want to listen to an audiobook today. So I'm going to do this. I will come back whenever I come back. I'm going to prep these and begin to sew them. All of my, the handles are done and on my sewing machine to finish those out. And the goal is to have this top, even if it's just all the mugs, done today. And the good thing is I'm cooking for Christmas, but I'm just cooking something. I'm making a gumbo. So it's fairly like, there's not a lot of prep. So yesterday I went and got all the last stuff because the kids come. They come first thing in the morning because everybody brings their gifts here. So they come first thing in the morning and we open our gifts together. And then they go home, usually. Sometimes they stay. Then they go home and they come back. So I got some little stuff to do continental breakfast, something light so I wouldn't have to cook breakfast. So I got all that yesterday. In the last bit, I got the seafood that I need to add into the gumbo. And yeah, we're gonna have a good old time. Lord's will. Everyone's excited about our, we do a Secret Santa gift exchange. And we also do white elephant gifts. Now, because my kids did not have a previous experience with white elephant exchange, it has been so interesting because our white elephant gifts, you know, like normally when I used to work like 50 million years ago at a job, the white elephant gifts could have been like gag gifts. But because my kids didn't know, y'all, I raised my kids to be good gift givers. So, because I love a good gift. And it's not even about the money. It really is about the thought, but not just the thought of what you want me to have or what you think will make me happy. What do you think? That's the way I think about it. Anyways, y'all, gift giving is my love language. Or my gifts are a love language for me. So anyways, so since they had no previous experience with it, now I'm over here prepping these at the same time. They get really good. They get really, really good white elephant gifts. A couple of them were a little bit gaggish, but like, you know, it was some like, I remember somebody last year got, I don't know, what was an example? $50 worth of gift cards to different restaurants, like a mixture. Somebody else did a bag of all of like the family's favorite snacks. Like it wasn't big, but it was like perfect. So this year, in mine, I'm glad I like went like a little bit middle of the road. Because last year was the first time we did the white elephant. And because I would have felt like, ooh, I got bum gifts. So I went a little bit middle of the road. And the person who got mine was still like, man, I still use that every day. And I'm like, oh, perfect. So this year I got some pretty cool stuff. I'm excited about the stuff I got. And so, yeah. So with that said, that is it. I'm going to go across the hall or go over to my reading chair and get the glue stick, because that's going to be faster and it'll be less messy. And then while I was telling my story, I got several of the corners prepped. And I'm going to do it like this. I think this will just make it all go a little bit smoother. And even though I am going to finish this top today, I'm still not in a hurry. So I don't want to rush just for the sake of finishing. I want to finish strong. And so I'm going to go get that so I can prep the rest of these corners. And then I will see you back, hopefully, when I think a good time to check back in will be when all the mugs are done. Once all the mugs are done, y'all, when I tell you, Dana gonna have a praise break. Baby, I'm gonna have a praise break because this has been a whopper. It has been a whopper, but I feel so much better about it. So that feels good. So I'm off because I'm starting to fiddle and I want to go ahead and get the glue stick. So I'll see you back on the next update. Y'all, this is going to be the longest vlog ever. However, I do believe it's going to be like a real vlog, but you're just following me along, not in a day, but on a project. So if you've made it this far, and I'm sure I probably asked before, let me know how you feeling it. Like, I know, y'all know I'm going to do whatever it is I'm going to do. But I do like doing things that, you know, that you guys enjoy too. I think in general, people will enjoy like hearing about the pattern and everything anyway. I also feel like I'm going to do, like I used to do back in the day. Like I did it a few times with knitting patterns. So I'm going to do it with this one. Like I think I'm going to do, like have this vlog, which is the longer version. And then have like a short version where it's just the review of the pattern and my experience with the pattern, because I ain't trying to bash anybody, but I do want people to know. And when I was talking to y'all, I'm starting to ramble a little bit. I'm sorry. But when I was talking to my quilting bestie, she's my sister, so not blood sister, but sister in Christ and sister in every other way. But I do call her my quilting bestie. And you can find her here. I'm going to put the link to her new channel in my description box because I always forget because she changed her handle. But anyways, bless me. When I would show her some of the stuff, she was like, what in the world? And there were so many aspects like that with this quilt. So yeah, so I want to make sure I just point those out. So yeah, but that's it. I'm off because I'm about to go get this glue stick so I can get this in and turn on my audiobook. And I'll see you guys in the next clip. This might be the weirdest angle ever, but here is the glue stick. So this is what I'm going to do. This is a glue stick that I got for Hexies, but I don't like it. So I'm going to just do this and see if this works. Yep, good enough. Okay, I'm sorry. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's a lot less of a mess than doing the other way because there's no like dot of liquid glue. So that's what I'm gonna do. Y'all listen, I didn't mean to come back this quick. My husband just came in and hooked us up. So if you see the angle is better, he found me a better tripod. And so yeah, I'm gonna keep going, but I just had to come on and record. So this is so that we have a better angle. And he just had, y'all, my tripod was little, okay? It was little. I was using what I had. And so now it'll be a little bit better. And it'll allow me to do my, come in and insert as I go along. So with that said, I'm going to go back. But since I'm already recording, all of the corners have been prepped. And I just showed you, and I used the glue stick, which this is going to be perfect for something like this. Since I don't like using it for Hexies, I prefer to hand sew the Hexies. And so now I am going to go and have coffee and chill with my husband for a little bit. And then I'm going to come back up here and everything is prepped for me to start sewing. So I will see, I think I've showed you everything. I'll see you when I get back for the next clip. And I'm so glad we have an upgrade. All right, I'll see you guys in the next clip. Deciding to glue these corner stones on was a great idea. It sort of stabilized everything and I can move through the pieces fairly quickly. I thought I'd just show this. Again, you may know this, but if you don't, now you will. So I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit. Now let's see here. Now we're at an angle, so it's hard for you to see because this is clear. There's a dot here that shows where the alignment with the needle actually is. And because I'm doing half from corner to corner, I want the point of this square to be aligned with the needle. Then, let me back up a little. Here we go. This amazing little thing, I just align with this middle line and it just gives perfectly straight lines as long as you follow it. And so I'm going to show you real quick and then I'm going to keep going. And I'm chain piecing these. If we wobble a little bit, just know it's because you're mounted to the table and the machine sort of, you know. There we go. And then I'll just keep it aligned with this line. And then it's done. And look at that. And I can just keep going. So this thing, I'll show all the tools that I found really helpful for completing this quilt at the end. But this has been probably one of the best. This, as well as my cutter. It just makes transitioning and getting these separated so easy. So I'm going to keep going and I'll see you once I get all of these mugs done. All of my handles are done. All of the bodies of my mugs are prepped. I have them separated because there's multiple layout options. And what I'm going to do is pull these according to whatever is next. Now there's one more tool that I am going to be using, and that's this little magnetic guy here to keep everything aligned with my 1/4 inch seam. I wanted to make sure it's in place because I decided to leave the extra fabric here, and I want to make sure that I keep these sort of intact. And so now I'm set up to get these mugs done. I'm still on my mat dash, not sure if I'll finish, but I am going to give it a hearty try. I'm coming in for the final update. It is still Christmas Eve, and y'all, I did not get all of my mugs done. However, the progress is acceptable, especially for the day that I've had. So I have a pile of mugs done. There are multiple variations, so I separated the mugs as best as I could into the different orientations. So I have one setting completed, at least those blocks done, and then I'm going to do the rest. It's only a handful. That was the bigger portion, and then everything else is already set up. All of the bodies of my mugs are done. All of the handles of my mugs are done. So the next step will just be completing the second half because I'm not doing the third orientation, and then putting the settings on the surrounding part. I don't know what it's called. I would call it settings on each one of them. And I'm going to do those the way that I did this, all just go from top to bottom because it's just been helpful with keeping the pieces in order. And so you've already seen the other updates. I will see you all when I'm back at it again. I might get some time to sew tomorrow. I doubt it. So I won't have it finished by Christmas unless I do get some time. So I don't know because I'm cooking tomorrow. So that sucks a little bit because I wanted to get it done. But either way, I've made great progress and I don't hate this pattern anymore. And that's great progress too. With that said, I will see you in the next clip. If I don't see you all before Christmas, Merry Christmas, and I'm out. Merry Christmas, which sounds so odd because you could be watching this at any time, but it is Christmas morning. We've finished all of our morning stuff, so I have just a little bit of time before I start prepping our Christmas dinner. And I'm here because the kids skedaddled. My husband is messing with some of his stuff from Christmas, and that means I can sew on some mugs. So I'm about to get to work. I did want to come on and show one of the things that I got for Christmas from my daughter. And this is the Connecting Threads Cosmic Cloud. Now, I'm really excited about working on this quilt top because it's all flannel. And one of our favorite house quilts that we use, like literally every single day, is flannel. And not the top. I pieced the top years ago here on the channel. I made it for my husband, but we use it all the time. I pieced the top with regular cotton, and then I did not use batting, and then I used flannel for the backing. I get flannel and fleece mixed up, but I believe it's flannel, but it's like the thicker flannel that you get from, maybe it is fleece that you get from, I got it from Joann's. We love it. Absolutely love it. Again, we use it like when I take a nap, when we're chilling, watching movies, like everything. And what's crazy is we only have that one, and basically I need to make more. But the point is, I also really like the intricacy of this, and I'm just hoping after this one, I'm not crying salty tears. So I'm having faith. The colors are absolutely beautiful. The fabric feels amazing. And so I'm glad about this. So enough of gushing over this. As you can see, kits are like my new thing because it's so much easier. Again, like so much easier. So what I'm about to do is get to it on these. I have about, I'm thinking about an hour or less to be able to just work. I think I can finish these. So I'm about to get to work, and I'm hoping and praying that my closing clip for today will be that I have these mugs done, because I will be so happy. And then all I'll be waiting on is the fabric to come in. For the border, I don't know, I can't remember, and I'm so sorry if I told you all that I end up ordering another 2 yards of the background fabric, which is another thing that's great about getting the kits from Connecting Threads, because it's easy to identify what elements you need to reorder if you need to. And so I ordered that, and then I also ordered the background fabric. So I'm thinking it'll probably be here the end of next week, maybe at the latest. So if I can get this all done and everything, then I should be good to go. Because I have the fabric for the inner border, and I just need the outer border. Worst case scenario, and it's really not a worst case if I just feel like it, I could just do another fabric that I already have for the outer border, and so we'll see. I could also go ahead and like prep the the batting, like pre-cut it and everything, so that I'll be ready to put it on the long arm as well. So there are things that I can do, even if it's just finishing these, not assembling them, and then moving on to starting to piece the next quilt. So basically I have options. With that said, I'm really going to get to work. I'm going to put on probably a YouTube video and start putting these together. So I'll see you all in the next clip. I hope that you're having a great day and that you had as much fun opening your Christmas gifts as your kids. and that you are having an opportunity to take in not only the reason for the season, but being able to spend time with people that you love. And yeah, that's that. So with that said, I'll see you in the next clip. I am about to close things down for the day. I am not done. I think another one of the things that I'm learning from doing this is getting an understanding of how long things take. So even as I was working on these blocks, like my bobbin ran out. So end up spending some time winding bobbins and, you know, pressing and everything. So, but what I can report that is on track, I have all of the mugs assembled. Now all I have to do is, so I have all of them, they look like this. And now I just have to do the assemble, like a set for the two different block styles. And so I have both of those, both types prepped. I even have the extra one prepped. And so right now I'm going to, I'm marking which ones, like which pile is which setting, and you know, because there's two. So I have an A and a B pile, and they're all sewn, pressed, and ready to go. And the other pieces are already cut. So I know when I'll come up next time, it'll be a really great thing. So I really did a great job on these though. I put all the handles and all of the side strips, and for all, I think I have more blocks than I need. So I have 28 blocks. And so now I just work out the rest. So I'm off to start cooking. And I don't know, I might be able to come up later. If I don't, it's all good. One of the other things that I would note, and you may know this, but you may not as well. I try my absolute best to leave my workspace in a workable manner. So when I come back, I can literally just get started. So everything down to having my pattern on the right page and back on the stand, any pieces prepped and laid out, my blocks separated and marked. So when I come back, I really can just dive in. Everything has been pressed. They already are separated. So it makes it so that if you are like me, where you only get in a little bit of time here and there, doing these little things add up. I always keep the containers that I'm working with present. The stuff that's already pre-cut is cut and labeled. Any sort of scraps that I can go into for other things are here. My binding and my backing are in the container ready and wet. Well, not my backing, but my binding and my borders are already in the container ready. So it just makes it so that when I come in, I get just about full use of the 15 or 20 minutes that I get to sew. And also, don't forget to check your sewing machine. You know, do you need to change out the bobbin? Every once in a while, I have a little bit of bobbin left. But if it's not enough bobbin to be able to cover me for the entire next sewing session, sometimes I will take that bobbin off or change out for a fresh bobbin so that I get the use of that time. And so, that's just a little tip to my fellow, I don't know what to call us, a little quickie quilters or something. And, you know, put all my pens away, make sure my rulers are back where they're supposed to be. Like, you don't want to have to waste time searching for things or having to put things together unless you're supposed to be like cutting, right? And that's what another reason why for this project, I cut everything at first. So there was just cutting days, and then I can start sewing and everything sort of moves, except for when it didn't move. But that had nothing to do with what I'm telling you now. So with that said, your girl is out for this clip. Good morning. We are back at it. I hope everyone had a great holiday. It's not over because New Year's is right around the corner, but that's the last like big hoorah for my family. Okay. So I have everything laid out to just pick up and start off where I left off. So now I'll just be setting these triangles, the mugs. As I was coming in today too, I realized like I also want to do something a little bit different today. So I may also do some cutting, especially since I know that I have more fabric coming for the background strips. So I have some of the strips that I cut that were miscut that I can cut partially if I wanted to. But what I think I might do is use those to make more of the potato chip blocks. I think I talked about that before, but having some the white or off-white to go with the other ones, I want to start my first blocks with that. And I want the ring, the first full ring outside the center to be off-white or white, like in that spectrum, so to sort of pop. And so I'm going to cut a few of those. I actually have all of the center, the 2 strips for the center sewn. And so now I just have to, I was about to say, remember where I put them, but they're all in here. This is the container I used to keep my strips in. And now that I got the other one, I just have the pieces that I've already started to put together. There are a lot of redundancies in these because it was like I was piecing them together like right after I did stuff, but it's gonna be whatever. This one's probably gonna be a movie quilt, so it's gonna be all good. So there's a couple of them where I pulled off the extras that I need to press just to smooth everything out. So yeah, that's what I want to do too. If possible, cut down some of this so that I don't have all of this left after I get all of these put together, because that is the body of the quilt done. And then I will need to cut the binding, because I did not cut, no, I need to cut the border and I need to cut the binding. And then I'm waiting on the fabric for the last border. And then I will do some of these. Now I have this fabric that I can cut down to be potato chip. I'm just gonna call them potato chip blocks. And then I also have like a bin of what I call chunks, because it's just chunks of fabric that I have down there that I actually may press some of that and cut some of that as well. So I'll be finishing up the top for the Christmas block, and then I'll do some scrappy work. I like scrappy work as like brain down time. And I'm excited because I have not done a full one of those quilts yet, and I want to. The final thing is, and I don't know if I'll get to all of this today, is I did an unboxing not too long ago for the Prairie quilt, which is right back over here. And you can't see it, I'm pointing at it. And I do want to take it out and start looking at the assembly. Whenever I have quilts like that are really big quilts, and it's a kit, so you don't have any more of the fabric that you can get, I like to go through and read the pattern. One of the things that I did note in the unboxing is that the pattern is done on the diagonal, which I don't like, but I am looking forward to the making the quilt. It's just beautiful. It's those soft hues that make it really exciting. So I'm not gonna do any piecing or cutting on that, but I do want to just pull out the pattern and take a look at it and see what I'm up against. Today is probably the last full day that I have off from client work. And even when I start back up next week, it's not client work, but my own. I've had a few of my one-on-one clients that are working on big projects that we have been in contact over the break. But I want to spend some time tomorrow wrapping up everything with the planning for the year, getting everything set for the curriculum for my community and things like that. So today is probably going to be my last big quilting day. I may get another day-ish next week. It won't be a full day like today. And I don't even know if today will be a full day because I kind of want to finish reading the book too. So y'all, I got a lot of stuff going on. Okay, got a lot of stuff going on. But it's all good because yesterday I enjoyed that. Okay, we enjoyed yesterday. I enjoyed Christmas. I got sleep, so I feel good. So with that said, I'm gonna stop chit chatting. We're about to get to this. The priority is getting this top done. I am starting to lay out this quilt, and when I started this journey, I didn't think it would take me this long, since my original goal was to have everything done by Christmas. But I've learned so much about myself, and isn't that what is so amazing about quilting? It's like you get all of these little life lessons and learning about your isms and your ish, all while cutting and sewing and spending a lot of time with yourself, whether it's in thought or listening to music or audiobooks. It can be extremely relaxing, or like this quilt, it can, test your resolve to get the project done. And thankfully, I'm getting closer and closer. If you look at the timestamps as you move through both of the videos, you'll see it took me over a month to do, way longer than I thought it would take, and that's okay too. Another reason why I wanted to do these style of vlogs is because, there are some of us where you got to get in where you fit in. And me doing 15 and 20 minutes here and there, or an hour here and there, just shows that it is possible, but you just got to be patient with yourself and you got to let it do what it do. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm not letting my expectations bulldoze me. I'm trying my absolute best to do this from a sense of calm and peace and joy, so that I can turn this into a project that in the end I really do love. And whether we decide to keep it or to give it away, it was made with love. And so as I continue finishing this up, I will allow it to run and you can see me finish this quilt. I did have intentions on doing a review, but I think after you watching part 1 and part 2, you're pretty clear about how I feel about this quilt.
We had both highs and lows, and in the end, I really do like how it turned out. I do plan to make another one, and when I do it again, I will be equipped with so much information and a process for doing this in a way that feels less like work and more like play. I also showed different tools as I was working because there were some true MVPs, and I will try my absolute best to include a link in the description box for those because they came in clutch and I plan to use them much more in the future. And so with that said, I'm going to allow you to sit back and either listen or watch the rest of this vlog play out, and I will see you towards the end.
So this is my layout. Looking at it through the viewfinder, I sort of wish I could disperse the colors a little bit better, but being that they're pretty much set because of the setting, I am just gonna let it be, honestly. What I would probably do next time is do the layout before I did the setting. That would have helped me place things a little bit better. But as it stands, I'm just going to let it be what it is. And because some of the values, because of the light, you don't see as crisp. They're patterns and not solids. I'm going to open. That makes a little bit better. They're patterns and not solids, even though from a distance they look like solids. So that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest, make the rest of it. This is the top before I've put on the borders, and I'll cut those soon. My edges are jagged over here. I'm probably gonna have to do some major cutting. It is a little bit crooked with our placement on the wall, so hopefully it won't be too much since it is kind of protruding on this side. But I'll clean those up and everything before we put the borders on. But for now, I am excited about almost being done. I am back with strings everywhere. I would call today an utter success. I have strings everywhere because that was one of the downsides that I'm finding about the connecting threads fabric is it is very stringy, which to me you get with fabrics that aren't the more expensive ones. But with that said, today was a success. I got the mugs top done. I did not do the border because I'm waiting to get the background fabric. I'm sort of thinking that I might want to do a mitered border so that I can just sew both borders at the same time. And I won't be able to make that decision if I put the color one on first, which I already have. Then what I did is I finished my Irish chain quilt. Even though technically this will probably be the last time I do it like this, I think I'm going to add in a little bit more background fabric. But for now, this is beautiful because this was all done with scraps. These were all scraps from the same jelly roll mixed in with some other fabrics that matched. And then I also had a lot of one fabric, and so all of the center squares are the same color. And then my background squares are a mixture of white and muslin, so they're not all the same color. But when I look at it right now, it works. I mean, it's gonna just be a I don't know. I honestly feel like it's going to be a TV quilt. This is going to be a quilt that's used. So I'm going to I have this one background fabric that's sort of busy that I doubt I use on anything else, that I'll use on the back of here, and it'll be good to go. And you'll see I'll have some pictures of both quilts. But what I'm going to do is just give a quick shot of it before I take it down off the wall, and then I'll come back and tell you what's next. But I believe this is a great ending place for this vlog. Now, let me show you, and then I'm going to wrap this up. And yeah, so let's take a peek at my scrappy quilt that is complete. Here it is. I haven't measured it yet. I wasn't intending for it to be this long, but I realized I needed it to go a little bit longer. So I would guesstimate it somewhere around 75 by maybe 85 to 90 inches, somewhere in there. And yeah, I'll talk all about this. This looks really good in the camera. I'm thinking that next time I'll take that center area out and put another piece of background fabric there, so it'll look like I have bigger spaces. It also means I won't need as many squares. And it also means I probably have enough squares to start the next one. So I'll talk about that in the final closing clip. But yeah, here it is. I'm so excited. It turned out great. It was a great one to make while I was listening to an audiobook. And like I said, today has been an utter success. So let's wrap up this vlog, quasi. So what's next? I finished that Irish chain. It's going to come off. I usually like to have one scrappy project that I'm actually assembling, even if I'm making blocks of others. So that means my scrappy project, that is done, and I will start another one. And I've already mentioned that I want to start a potato chip quilt. And so I've already cut those pieces. I've showed you all earlier, but I'll pull them out once more. I have all the center pieces done. And then here are all the other pieces that are already prepped. I'm going to cut some more of the off-white and whites to go around. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't think I have enough in here. So I'm going to maybe cut some more scraps. And yeah, so I'll be able to start on those. And I also have plenty of squares, which you can see them here as well. Oh no, these are my 2-inch. Those are for my postage. So I have several bins of 2.5-inch squares cut like this, and these will be for the next Irish chain quilt. And so I have that. So I'll start just putting it together and see how fast the blocks come together. The 9 patches come together pretty quickly. I just do those little by little because they store in the container easily. I haven't done any of the potato chip, but I will have a 12.5-inch container free. And actually it's free now. So I can start on that. So those blocks will go in here. And so, yeah, that's how I will do. And that's how I keep these little projects sort of running. I try not to have more than a couple going at a time. Sometimes, most of the time, it's honestly just one. But this time it may be 2. Mainly because the sizes are different. And I mean, they're just 2 different quilts. But I'm excited. I'm still waiting on the fabric for the borders, so I'll finish that. That'll be the borders and the backing that will come at one time. So I'll be able to finish the mugs quilt. Once I finish that quilt, then I can give myself a breather before I start assembling the fabrics for my coffee quilt. Even though this quilt gave me a major headache, I feel like towards the end it sort of came together. And I will do, once the whole quilt is done, an official review. But because you guys have seen this vlog and you've made it this far, I will give some of my final verdicts. I'll give some more things there like tips and tools, and so it won't be just scattered throughout this whole vlog, because I don't know how long this will be. And yes, I'm going to put it all up as one. I am going to say this. In the beginning, I did not care for this quilt. I did not. And I will admit that some of the errors were my own. I feel like some of the tips and things that I did towards the end made it so much better. And once I had all of the prepping done, it did assemble well with chain stitching. You know what? I probably should bring you a little bit closer since I'm closing out, y'all. Y'all, he done gave me this little stand, and baby, we cooking with Crisco. Let me, so I found that towards the end, having everything pre-cut and then just doing one step at a time, it went really fast, even towards the end. And so next time I think I won't feel as anxious. And I felt like once I started that it was the smaller pieces that were getting to me. It wasn't the smaller pieces, but it was the odd cuts that got me more than anything. And what I mean by odd cuts, I'm finding that I will call myself a Jenny Doan learned quilter, meaning like I learned to quilt after the time when pre-cuts were a popular thing, and having pre-cut measurements is something that I find that traditional quilters, at least when I've taken classes and people that I've met, sort of barked at in the beginning, and now people are sort of getting used to it. And that's how I learned to quilt a lot, at least, like, or whole cuts, like not having a whole bunch of, 3/4 and 1/4. And it was either like 2 or 2.5 or 3 or 3.5. Like, so having the odd cuts, I found that just annoying. And then the fact that there was quite a bit of snowballing on this, and just having to get myself oriented with those lines. Again, the tools that I had made it a lot easier, but I did have to have a system. And I will say part of the operator error on that, I believe I've said it on the channel before, I'm left-handed. I'm a left-handed person who has a dominant right side. So when I was in elementary school, they tried to change me to be right-handed. So I'm technically ambidextrous. I can write legibly with both hands. It's not as clear with my right, but I could write legibly with my right hand. And I do a lot of things as if I was a right-handed person. But what it does in my mind sometimes when I'm quilting is make me second guess myself, because there are some things where I just gravitate towards the left thinking of it, and I second guess it. So again, that's on me. Some of the steps and things that I did towards the end helped so that I didn't have to overthink that, and it rode a little smoother. I also didn't care for the fact that with this quilt, there's some extra like bonus stuff, like they had topping on some of the mugs that they didn't even account for in the kit. And I really wish they would have, but if you looked at their picture didn't have the topping on any of the mugs. It was just in the original pattern. And so I thought that kind of sucked. But I mean, I understand. And it wasn't in the pattern or the picture that they showed, but it is in the pattern. And I know I will opt for that option later. It also means that any future assembly of this quilt should have a background color that has a contrast to white if you decide to do their third mug style, because the foam, or if you will, the topping, if you will, is white. So you can't have a white or light background, or it won't have enough of a contrast. So I think it really shows the most on this one, where they had a blue background and you can see the toppings, like here, you see that? And so, again, that's something that was something worth looking out for. The final thing is that a lot of the piecing needed to be, because all of the, I'm double saying two things at once. I apologize. Because the piecing was these odd mixed match of numbers, and some of them were literally like a quarter of an inch or a quarter of an inch or half an inch off, you can't just look at them and say, oh, this is the 2-inch block and that's the 4-inch block, as an example. You really had to pay attention, and that's one of the downsides for me. So I will say that, and this is a tip that I hope I remember when I'm recording the review, but I want to show you. So what I do, and y'all do it with what you will, is I always buy these Post-its for our office, and I buy them in bulk, so we always have them. And so what I do is I take one of these and then I fold it in half so that the sticky is it sticks to itself, and that means it's not sticky. And then what I do is I write the measurement, and then in parentheses, I put the number of blocks that I have of that measurement. And if it's a small batch, then I can do that and clip it with one of these. If it's a huge batch, then I just sit it on top and sit it in a container, and then all the pieces are sort of laid out in there. And then once I finish with all the assembly, and then I lay out the rows, I turn them over, and then that's when I just have like an A, B, C, D, or a row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. And this is how I sort of keep things organized. And me having this system just really saved my tush. It didn't save me on some other stuff, but it saved me where it counted. And so that means that I was able to use these in the beginning and then use this for the assembly. And so then I know I'm all done when I have all of my little pieces. And this is like my A, B, C, D, E, F, like all of that. And then because you can get these for very inexpensive, like this pad probably cost me way less than $1. You can even get a multiple pack at the dollar store. It's no big deal if I throw these away. And I mark them with pencil. Don't mark them with friction pens, of course, because if you press the item, that these pin will. So if you have these, like when I have them in rows, I will have them pinned to the row. Let me show you one that's been pinned. They look like this sometimes, and I'll have it pinned to the row. And make sure you either use a real pen or pencil so that you can actually leave it pinned on and press it just fine and not lose your row or your measurement. And those I actually save and use them over and over again. And those are with the same process, but the smaller variety. Let me grab it. These same process, and even these, like I've literally had these same ones, which are just numbers through, I think it's through 20, and I've just used these same ones over and over again. My rows, I've used those over and over again. That's why they are clipped here. And when all of these from the quilt that I finished today will be put here on the clip, and I'll be able to use those again as well. And so that's what sort of helped me in the end. When I got really frustrated, I just had to pause and think about and just get myself sort of oriented and organized, and then just slow down. I had to do way more picking on this project than I ever would have liked. Most of the time I just quit. So I'm proud of myself for not quitting, because I even had to unpick on this Irish chain because I needed the bottom. I added 2 more rows on the bottom instead of adding them on the far right. And so I needed to reorient them, and I just sucked it up. I had a great audiobook going, and it just worked. So the close of everything, which is, being organized, writing out all the cuts. I did the cuts not by writing them out, even though I would recommend writing them out more than what I did, I just did it. I printed it and I just crossed stuff off as I went. I really feel like I would next time I will probably write these out. I think it'll be so much easier to keep up with. And so with that said, I'm excited. The one thing that I did not get to today that I wanted to was to take a look at the Prairie quilt pattern. And so I'm going to take that downstairs as we're sitting and closing out this evening. I'm going to sort of take a look at that and just look through that pattern. This weekend, I do want to cut some more blocks. I want to cut some more potato chip blocks, and I want to cut some 2.5-inch squares so that I can prep being ready to do the next. I'm going to be prepping 2 sort of scrappy quilts at once, and then we'll do another one of these if you guys enjoy this. So yeah, that's it. So please take a look at the playlist that shall pop up around here so that you can keep watching. If you enjoy this, even if it's just me playing in the background, or you love seeing the progress on the quilt, would you please do me a huge favor and thumbs up this video and leave a comment below that you enjoy these. Y'all, this is much easier for me. I'm doing it over time. You can't really tell that. I guess you kind of can, because I probably went from fall to Christmas and all that. It's okay. But it's easier for me to do it this way because I can record clips as I go and just save them in a folder and put them all together. I think just watching the progress of the quilt and seeing the tips and tricks and things in real time are always helpful for me. And I love listening to / watching these kinds of videos when I am crafting, because I feel like I'm not quilting on my own. And so you can pause it, you can drink your coffee, you can stop and take breaks and look. And so, yeah. With that said, thank you so much for joining me on this quilting blog. I will see you all hopefully sooner than later. Take care and goodbye.
I've been down so in love like. I've been down so in love like. I've been down so in love like.